In the studio now we have Jaqueline. Jaqueline is working a lot on education.
Yes.
I think it would be very nice if you could introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, and why are you here today?
All right. Goedenavond allemaal. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Jaqueline Menezes. I'm originally from Brazil, but I have been traveling around Europe for the last 15 years. First in England, then in the Netherlands, a little bit in Italy, now back in the Netherlands. And I have been working in education since I was a child myself, since I was 12 years old. I started with volunteer job, and I started as an entertainer, later on as a teacher, coordinator. I worked in all sectors you can imagine, public, private, volunteer. So I have also the pedagogics, the bachelor in pedagogy. So next to my experience, 20 years or more experience, I have also a lot of scientific research in the area of education. That's certainly my passion.
That was a very good introduction. As an educator, my first question would be, what did you learn in 2020?
Ooh, I learned so much. Three words come in my mind now. First one, resilience. Second, trust. And third, acceptance. And this was in all aspects of our lives, in education, in our personal life, financial life, social life, in everything. And I was working as a teacher and also as a coordinator when this whole COVID started. And it really made me think how my students are spending much more time at school than with their parents. So our role as teachers, as educators, is way, way more important than we can ever imagine. Because according to science, our personality, our emotional intelligence is developed in our first 6, 7 years. So, and at this period, kids are normally at school from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. So they get home, they have dinner with their parents, they go to bed, so they're mostly at school. And at school, we are always focusing on putting information, putting knowledge in their head, rather than focusing on their life skills, knowing how to problem solve, how to be resilient, how to be empathetic, how to be resistant, how to trust in life. And this year, they spend most of the time with their parents at home. And as crazy it can sound, it was the best thing that could happen with the students because they have this personal, this individual interaction with their parents. They're actually having a one-on-one connection and interaction which helps them to develop more trust, responsibility, self-confidence. So it was a very challenging year for all of us. I can imagine for the parents as well, because as more as they love their kids to be 24 hours with your little ones at home, it can be very challenging. But I can tell you for sure that your kids should be much more with you at home or having one-on-one experience with their grandparents, with their friends, and with you parents. And our school system should be much, much more focused in their emotional intelligence. I would say especially in their first 7 years.
Well, now, I can imagine people looking out there and saying like, okay, this is nice emotional intelligence. It's nice that we have, they're spending time with their parents and grandparents and learning these skills, but it doesn't give you a job. Our system, our education system is inclined to have better employees. So how would that fit in? Because could you actually get a job?
Sure. Sure. I'm not saying that you have to put aside the knowledge, that you have to put aside the information that you learn at school. But what I say is it's not the most important, not the only thing, especially in the first years. Okay, so once you develop the basic of the personality, of the emotional intelligence, of course you can focus on many other things. You can also, but that's another discussion that will take hours or days, which we believe, from my experience, if you give children opportunity to be more involved with art, music, painting, drawing, body movement, whatever, their creativity will develop much more than you can imagine. So it will be much more, it will be much easier for them to find out what they really like, what they're really good at. So there are many kinds of talents, and the school just develop or encourage our memory. So as more information you can keep in your head, the better, the higher your grade. And we know very well that having information is not the only thing that is important, because I can have information, but what do I do with it? So they work together, right? They walk together. So I would say that, yes, when they grow, they will need to be talented in something to find jobs. But I can guarantee you that if you develop those skills, if you develop the resilience, if you develop creativity, problem solving, and teaching them how to go after what they want, they will find their job, they will find their talent, and they will go for it.
So why don't schools and education systems have that right now in place?
Oh, yeah, that's...
Why not?
That has been my question and my discussion for years. The thing is, we are in a loop of this addictive cycle in society, right? So we are in this automatic pilot that we have to make money, we have to pay the bills, to have a better house, to have a better car, to give better education, to pay for a better school. So we are in this cycle that we cannot get out, because society is telling us that's what we have to do, and not everybody has this information that I have the access for, and you have this access for. So normally the parents, they think, okay, that's the way it should be, because that's what society is telling that they should do. That's what the school is telling them that they should do. So we stay in this addictive cycle, and then we are getting emotionally sick. This year broke us down. We had to rethink everything about our lives, about our beliefs, about our skills. And in my practice, I always find a way to develop the emotional intelligence of my students. So it is possible. Of course, there is also the system pushing you, asking you, why didn't he reach this grade?
Yeah, and
why
you don't
didn't
reach
he
the grade.
do this? Exactly.
Sorry to interrupt you, but if you don't reach that grade, because grades automatically puts you in a class
Puts
system.
you in a yeah, exactly.
And if you don't get the grade, it means you don't get that good job.
Yeah.
So their parents have to push their kids, because otherwise they won't get that job, right?
Yeah. So from my experience, it has been changing a lot in early years education. I think that our generation is rethinking a lot our values, our principles, what's important or what not. And what I see is that we are every day more, in my discussions with the group of educators at school, we have been discussing about it all the time. And I'm always stepping my foot and saying, I don't mind that he didn't reach this grade in this, because he's very good at this other side. And in the meetings with the parents, that's what I explain them. And they show me their frustration, and I tell them, listen, I have been teaching for over 20 years. So you can trust me, you can give it a try, to trust me and believe that your son, your daughter is fine, and go with it. Or you can go with the system, and I'm not the right teacher for you.
How do you envision the future of education in 2021 and beyond?
I'm quite sure that a lot's going to change. I have to be, of course, realistic. And one side tells me that we will want to run after what was left behind. So now we have to catch up with everything that we couldn't do in 2020. But on the other hand, I can see many families, because I see many different realities. And what I have been experiencing as well is parents who are saying, my child is much happier. My child is behaving much better. Our relation is much better because we have more time together. We are studying together. I'm letting go of some things. And I can see that people are more reflective. I can say that 2021, everything will be different, everything will change. But I do believe that we planted a seed that's going to start growing now. That's my hope.
That's a great hope. That's a really good hope. I would wanted to ask you, we're going to do the rapid
Yes.
fire round. is like my first question. It would be, and yeah, it has to be simple answers. The first one is, what are you leaving behind in 2020?
Um, I'm leaving behind a life of being controlled by fear.
What are you taking with you to 2021?
I'm taking acceptance and trust in the process.
My final question is, what is your wish for yourself and for the others that are watching right now for the coming new year?
I realized lately that we have both passion and purposes in life, right? And my goal for this year is to put them together, my purpose and my passion.
Thank you very much. I had one question which just came to my mind.
Yeah.
I usually would wind up here, but this question is very important because we have been talking about emotional intelligence. We have been talking about things like empathy, things that we need to actually work on because many people are not aware of empathy at all.
No.
But now in a society where we are moving much faster to everything doing online, like today, how do you see that happening?
Well, I can tell our example. For instance, we put our effort in every relationship I have. I try to bring awareness as more as I can. So one of the things is in our personal relationships, we can always bring it up. We can help people to reflect. We can guide, mediate them to reflect in their actions and how they could be more empathetic, like put yourself always ask yourself, what if this person was doing this to me? What if somebody was doing this to me? How would I feel? How would I react? If the answer you have for yourself is the action you should take for the other as well. So I want to put it in practice with my professional life, and we made a great team for that, I believe, with our projects and bringing emotional intelligence training to bring awareness, because many times my experience tells me that people are just not aware. They are just not aware. If you just bring this awareness to them, they will wake up and tomorrow they will act better. Of course, we're not robots. We sometimes need time. Sometimes things are in our system. We are so used of doing it for years and years. So you cannot, there's not a switch that today I'm empathetic and tomorrow I'm not, or vice versa. So it is a process. But it all starts with a decision.
All right. Thank you very much, Jackie. I wish you a very happy new year, 2021. I hope that the vision you have for the education will come true. And we hope that we will, 2021, be more empathetic, have much more emotional intelligence, and we use our empathy more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Happy
audience.
New
Now
Year.
we will come back in a few minutes back to you with Shah of Holland. So stay tuned. We will be back. Thank you very much.
See you later.